Et nous sommes en décomposition. Ah non merde, c'est lui qui est en décomposition.
In the flickering torchlight, you see a magister lying muttering on the ground. As you approach, he turns with a jerk.
Hey, come to finish the job that your foul magic began, sorcerer?
J'ai pas forcément cherché à vous niquer la gueule, en fait, on veut juste se barrer.
Shame. A quick end would be a mercy.
You look at his hand and see that the skin is midnight black. It seems to undulate as if worms were squirming through his flesh. He grimaces and tucks it underneath his arm, squeezing it tight.
Qu'est-ce qui lui est arrivé?
He nods towards the bodies of the dead magisters, twisted in the thorned blood.
Same as those poor souls. We finished clearing out this blasted room and wanted to move on to the next. As soon as they touched that switch, they were screaming. Some void curse. Dallas warned us to take care, but we never thought, never knew we...
He looks up at you, his eyes staring deep into yours.
I saw how they died. I heard them screaming. I don't want to go like that. I don't want to face that. Please. I can't lift my sword. I can't do it myself.
He lowers his eyes to stare at his black, squirming hand.
Just make it quick.
The Magister looks up as you approach.
So, what are you waiting for? End it! Oh, be quick. Digging. Dallas told us to come here.
Qu'est-ce qu'il cherche?
Said we'd find weapons. Said we'd finally defeat Source.
The Magister gasps, grimacing and squeezing his arm as the curse wriggles through his veins.
I don't know.
Le dernier truc.
Whatever it is, it's not worth it. It's not worth those lives. Not worth this pain.
The Magister groans in pain as you walk away.
Allez, on va le buter. Voilà. Fais dodo. Wakatepe baboun, comme on dit. Yoneji, comment tu vas?
A young Magister tenderly fingers two fresh gashes across his eyes and face. His fingertips hesitate over his closed eyelids. He's been blinded. At your approach, he spins to face you and readies his shield.
Bonjour.
Stop! Who goes there?
Ça va?
He raises his sword.
State your name! Now! Prince! I don't know any princes. Tell me the truth. Who are you?
dommage.
I don't believe that for a second. You're a prisoner, aren't you? Hold still. I need to apprehend you.
T'es aveugle, mec, tu t'es fait lacérer les yeux, qu'est-ce que tu veux faire?
He sidles blindly beside the cart, groping his way toward you.
I can't let you go. It's my job. It's why I'm here.
Non mais je comprends bien, hein, mais enfin, dans son état, dans un endroit pareil, sa seule mission consiste à rester en vie, ouais, de base, ouais. À part s'il est trop endoctriné, mais non, mais on va essayer de le soigner, Magister Locke.
Don't you understand? You're so dangerous.
Locke.
It isn't your
Joli.
fault, but you are. If you leave this place, you could bring a void woken on your head at any time.
Ouais, je sais, ouais, j'en ai croisé un samedi dernier.
He continues to grope
Oh,
toward
putain.
you,
Ah non.
his sword clenched tightly in his hand. He opens his eyes a fraction of an inch and winces, stumbling over a rock stuck in the mud.
Est-ce que tu veux lui retourner à la courtoisie en l'attaquant? T'es sûr que tu veux pas besoin d'aide en fait?
No! No! Don't try anything. Do you hear?
Bon, bah d'accord.
Undead. They overturned the cart. Dragged us out. They wanted to rip us apart. We beat them back. But they got Faray through the heart. Got me across the face.
Landin, c'est celui qu'on vient de looter juste avant. Là.
I have a job here. I might be injured, but I'm still a good guard. Now, hold still.
Oui, non, mais d'accord, mais le problème c'est qu'en fait, même si, ok, on bouge pas, le problème c'est que t'as tout le reste qui va vouloir te bouffer le cul, donc.
He pulls a pair of shackles out of his bag and holds them out, open toward you.
Nothing. Understand? Stay away.
Bah, techniquement aussi, il pourrait, mais dans sa situation, c'est compliqué.
Please, don't make this any harder. You're dangerous. I need to keep you safe. I need to keep everyone else safe. Have you seen a Voidwoke? Have you?
Oui, non, mais le problème c'est pas ça. Le problème c'est que si tu commences à nous foutre les fers, déjà on va devoir retourner dans le fort et j'ai pas envie. Surtout que je sais comment se barrer. Mais surtout, enfin, qu'est-ce que tu veux comment tu veux qu'on défende si jamais il y a une couille qui arrive?
They come by morning. They kill everyone.
Oui, d'accord, mais enfin, nous on a buté les mecs que quand ils nous ont attaqués.
Seen it. I won't let it happen again.
Tiens, d'ailleurs, qu'est-ce que tu vends? Poudre de fée. Les objets nécessitant une pincée de magie, d'accord. Ok.
Hold still. Please. Please. Oh, come here.
Vous vous rendez compte? C'est ça? Non mais oui, mais... Mais non, mais je veux pas le combattre. Mais franchement, j'ai pas envie de le combattre. Mais vous me faites chier. Mon cher fils, tu me manques terriblement aujourd'hui. Dorakan nous ont joint accueillis. Je sens inouï. Ladia aide à la ferme dans la journée. Moi j'accompagne Madame Dorakan au marché. Ladia et moi avons prévu d'aller pique-niquer près de notre ferme ou de ce qu'il en reste. Je vais préparer le plat préféré de papa, une tourte à la viande et petit sablé au beurre que tu aimes tant. Puis que vous ramenez cette intention sorelleuse. À forge, on n'a plus rien à craindre des années maintenant. Chérie, fais attention à ta d'accord. Jess, tu me montres trop, reviens vite. Ah bah là... Là je suis désolé, mais bah, il reviendra pas. Hein. C'est pas faute d'avoir essayé de... Voilà, hein, mais ça va pas passer. Donc, qu'est-ce que c'est que ça? Un rat. Très bien, va Attends, c'est qui parle aux animaux, toi?
Void walking.
Un néant...
The rat looks guilty.
Qu'est-ce qui se passe?
Guilty. All right, I look guilty. It's just, well, the food here is so good. All this death and rot. It's good pickings here for a rat who's not too picky about said pickings.
Oui.
You think I like it? It's a compulsion, and I have to live with it. But I think you should focus your attention on the rather large void woken just over there. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to cower here until it's gone.
The
Ok.
rat closes its eyes and sits there trembling.
Ok. Alors on va faire une petite sauvegarde qui va bien. Est-ce qu'on va aller tenter un anéant? Encore. On va se faire pourrir le cul. Hein.
Your gaze wanders over the solemn stone face that overlooks the shore. For the briefest of moments, it seems as if its eyes come alive and lock with yours. The
Ok.
eyes, stone grey,
Oula.
turn pale green. They mesmerize, then enchain, then lure you in.
That shrine seems to have brought me here. What is this place?
Ok. Qu'est-ce que c'est que cette merde? Ok, qu'est-ce que c'est que cette merde? Bonjour.
You walk towards the figure on the dais, but wisps of mist start to cloud your vision. With each step, the mist gets thicker, hiding the figure from sight.
Thane, Thane.
You push through the fog, chasing the voice at breakneck speed. You trip and start to fall, but catch yourself against a bookcase.
The fuck?
You look around in shock as the mist clears. You are standing in a library, your library. You hear a cough behind you and turn to see your assistant, Harina. She hands you a thick book, Observations on the Universal Veil. You look at her in confusion as she explains, "You asked me to bring you your research, Master Fane, for your guest." As you walk through the library, Harina expresses her condolences. It is a shame that the king forbade further investigation into the veil. It was a fascinating topic. She leads you to a door, your study, and pushes it open to introduce your visitor. You step through the door and see the Lady Amadia, one of the 7 lords.
Alors, je comprends pas si c'est un souvenir que je revis ou si c'est un truc qui se passe actuellement. Ça me fait bizarre.
You turn, but your assistant is gone. The door is closed. You are alone with this unexpected visitor.
I must say, you created quite a stir earlier, dear Fane. The other lords and I were quite impressed with your research. We believe the king's decree that you should not investigate the veil was misguided. We would like to view more of your research. And I see you have already brought me some reading material. Kindly give it here, my boy.
The desk dissolves as you pass your hand through it, but the mist quickly reforms afterwards. You turn to see Lady Amadia staring at you curiously.
Qu'est-ce que c'est que cette merde?
Are you feeling quite well, my boy? I was hoping to talk to you about your research. Do you truly think this veil is the key to unlocking a new future?
Vous approchez d'elle et tentez de passer la main au travers de son visage. Ce serait très drôle.
Your palm connects with her cheek with a gentle tap. You recoil in shock. She's real.
Of course I am real, dear boy. As are you, it seems.
There is a crash of timber behind you, and you can feel hands grabbing you. You are dragged backwards as Amadia screams.
Ok.
The screams fade to nothing, as does the scene before you. You're standing on the cold, glowing stones once more, with Lady Amadia before you.
Fane, darling Fane. I had to know. I had to be sure. If you were not who you claimed, it could have been a disaster. Ever the gentleman, my child. You have already done so much for us, although you may not know it.
J'ai l'impression qu'ils sont un peu proches, donc on va essayer de la jouer comme ça. Vision spirituelle. D'accord.
But now madness has taken the world. The madness unleashed by the king, and we are all being pulled under its tide.
Bah, t'as pas l'enfant parce que c'est un terme gentil. Pas pour se foutre de ta gueule, quoi. Ou alors c'est qu'elle est très vieille. Du coup, c'est une cougar. Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Et pourquoi, du coup?
He already knew about the veil thing. He was draining its power, leeching from
Le
it to build
salopard.
up his own strength. When we confronted him about this betrayal, he used his power to try and subdue us, to turn us to slaves. He wasn't satisfied with our fealty. He
D'accord.
wanted total control. His madness for power knew no limits.
Oh, mais putain.
We fought, of course. The king scorched our land, but by uniting, we overcame his evil. He was banished beyond the veil he had tried to subvert, but our victory was hollow. Our people, oh my child, they were erased, destroyed utterly. We seven were all that remained.
Une rage glacée, zéro entrailles, vengeance. Vous exigez vengeance. Je sais pas si je la joue en mode ou si je la joue en mode vengeance. Je le joue de manière plutôt gentille, le fan. C'est pas un méchant nécron actuellement. Et vengeance, ouais, mais d'accord, mais vengeance. Enfin, le problème, c'est que le roi, il est claqué derrière le voile, donc. Bon, triste.
But you must steel yourself. The fight is not yet done.
Ah, il y a moyen de
For centuries,
tomber le
the
roi.
king has been searching for a way back into our world. And beyond the veil, he found the force that could help him do it. The void.
Ok, c'est pour ça qu'ils connaissent mon nom. Après les autres, j'imagine qu'ils doivent avoir un truc un peu similaire en termes
The
d'histoire.
moment we discovered the void, we understood the veil was created to hold it at bay by powers even more ancient than us. But thanks to the king, that evil has been seeping through the cracks. We have contained both ever since, but now, alas, they are winning.
C'est ça, céder au désespoir, le monde est condamné. Non. Non, clairement pas. Mais pourquoi? Qu'est-ce qui a changé?
I fear we are no longer united. I fear, well.
Ah, les seigneurs ne sont plus d'accord entre eux.
Amadia
Merde.
turns and gestures to the scene behind her. Down below, you can see the six other gods fighting, clawing at each other, everyone desperately trying to get the upper hand.
Ouais, sauf qu'ils s'ils sont de force égale, ça pue du cul.
Over the centuries, the drip of void into this world corrupted the others while they played with their mortal races.
Dakodak. Ok. Donc en fait, les dieux des races actuelles sont simplement les compatriotes qui vivaient à mon époque. En fait, c'était mes voisins. C'est vrai que techniquement, j'ai leur puissance. Je suis un dieu. Ah, je suis bien un nécron, c'est valide.
I fear it is too late for them, for us. But you, Vayne, you have been untouched by it all.
Ouais, bah oui, j'étais dans mon...
The world needs a power to protect it, and you are the key, Vayne. But you have fallen so far.
Comme s'il y avait besoin de remuer le couteau dans la plaie. Non, 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 je vais pas être un fumier, quoi. Pas un connard comme ça, pas avec elle. On sait que vous n'êtes pas tombé, effectivement, techniquement, on m'a poussé. Quoique, j'en sais rien, en fait. Je sais même pas comment ça se fait que je sois dans cet état-là. Ça fait longtemps, ouais.
You will feel whole once again, child. You have my word. I will guide you, but first you must return to the world and escape that island.
Ça marche.
But you will return more powerful, as your first step towards righting the wrongs of this world. I grant you my blessing and give you the ability to bless in turn.
Ok, retirer le collier, genre.
Amadia stretches her hand out, and you feel a warm glow spread through your bones. You feel a sensation that you have not felt in a very, very long time.
Ok, je suis donc effectivement un dieu de base. Très bien. Je vais bénir les nuages. Je vais bénir le fromage.
You may have noticed I have tried to help you on your journey. That I can bless the very water beneath your
Ouais,
feet.
d'accord, je vois ce que c'était.
Now you have that power for yourself. And this is only the beginning. More and greater powers await you, if only you will seek them. And seek them you must. But
D'accord.
before you begin, a word of warning. I gather that you travel with a pack of these lesser creatures.
Oui, c'est instructif. Non, ça va, le nain est marrant, la nana est marrante. Il n'y a que le lézard qui me faisait chier au début, là ça va, ça a l'air d'aller.
It is
C'est
only
calmé.
natural after so long spent alone. But you must be wary. Some of these creatures are more dangerous than they seem.
Ouais, déjà la nana avec son esprit démoniaque sous le crâne, j'avais déjà cru comprendre, oui.
They are God-woken, the chosen champions of the other 6 gods.
Alors je m'en étais un peu douté déjà. Mais alors la question c'est que si les autres veulent garder le truc pour eux, ils peuvent simplement faire en sorte que ils finissent par se retourner contre moi. Techniquement, Amadia peut faire la même. Et essayer de louvoyer pour me faire croire que oui, il faut réparer le machin alors qu'elle veut le truc pour elle.
And then there is the one you know as Losa. She is something else.
Oui, j'avais cru comprendre. Oui.
Something wicked. You must beware of her above all others.
Oui, ben ça, je m'en étais douté.
For they will all walk the same path as you, but they cannot be allowed to reach its end. You must be the one. Only one of our people can wield this power. Only you, Fane.
Ah! Oh, ça
She
pue
lays her
l'emmerde.
hand on your skull, and you see it clearly. The others, the gods, Amadia, and you. You are her chosen. You are her God-woken.
So go forth into the world with my blessing, dear one. Heed my words and go.
Ok.
You hear a sharp chittering from the ground. It seems your squirrel, after a quick back and forth, the squirrel throws up its paws and reaches out to touch your foot. You feel a strange new power fill your body. The squirrel sits back, sulking, and the cat struts away cheerfully.
C'est bon. Putain! Quantité de merde.
The corpses of voidlings lie in heaps around you, a miasma of cursed fluid pooling at your feet.
Those filthy beasts were like rats. A swarm most vile, but vanquished as a matter of course.
Well, that was fun. Could have gone a few more rounds myself.
We can't get caught up in another battle like that. They're only getting worse.
Et maintenant on loot tout ça.
It was madness! Big fire boom, lightning crash!
Ok. Ça va, un écureuil hyperactif avait un orage. Bouh! Mec qui a les cons.
The squirrel clearly doesn't understand sarcasm.
Comme si de rien n'était.
Ah,
il est con. Coucou Miyazaki, comment tu vas?
One moment sun, the next I feel darkness inside me, then noise. So much noise. Clank, moan, clink, groan.
What? J'ai
I
vu...
hid in a stump. I'm not a stupid squirrel. I have much stowed away for hard times.
Oui. J'ai vu que t'avais streamé hier soir, du coup, mais bah, comme j'ai pas eu la notif... Tu viens de finir ton gâteau? Ah. T'as mangé quoi de bon? Serait-ce la journée où tu level up?
But I saw them. I saw the shinies.
Les quoi? Ok, les shinies, ça doit être ceux qui ont des armures, du coup. Il cuit, il cuit.
Loud, fire and steel. Crash, bash, boom, splat! It was warm, then it was cold. No one left, just salamanders. They liked the meat.
Ok.
But I saw the shinies, 4 of them, round. Darkness left, then light again. Warm, saw glints in sand and dirt. Don't eat shinies, but I like to look at them. They make happy.
What? Ah!
Well,
Bonjour.
don't you look like hell? Swallowed something that doesn't agree with you? Tell me, was it a demon's nice, big... pecker?
N'importe quoi.
Oh, you poor thing. If there was a cave to explore, do you think I'd tell you? You really think I'm going to answer to you, don't you? We both know who's really in charge, don't we? And once it's strong enough, you'll be little more than a meat carcass for it to use however it pleases. Till next time, meatbag.
Est-ce que moi je peux y parler?
Hey, hey you! Let me see what you've got under there. Go on. Show me your... pecker! Wait, do you even have a pecker?
Non.
Oh, so many questions. I would say curiosity killed the cat, but you already know that, don't you?
La curiosity kill the cat. Ok. La curiosité a tué le chat. Mais non, on n'a pas ouvert la boîte à Schrödinger.
Now get your glittering bones away from me. Go clack and chatter at someone else.
Mec, t'es tout aussi squelettique que moi, tu te fous de ma gueule?
Until next time.
Tu vas encore nous faire une tablée pour tout un régiment, je parie. Je peux même vous dire le menu si vous voulez. Les menus même. Bon, le fauve, qu'est-ce que tu veux lui dire?
Dear gods, look at you.
Quelle
Not even
laideur.
a beard like that can hide that sort of ugly. Why's your beard so
Ouais,
black?
ok.
Are you still talking? Sorry. Now, get out of here. And try not to break anything until next time, you animal.
Ok. Et lui?
Ha! Look at you. How'd you get that red skin, lobster? Sit too long in the sun? Or do you paint yourself whole red every day because you think it makes you look special? What else makes you special, lizard? You're eensy weensy pecker?
My, lobster. How very presumptuous of you to ask anything of me.
Ok.
If you went back to the ancient empire, they'd kill you on the spot or put you in shackles and use you for a rent boy. Isn't that right?
Ta-ta, lobster.
Again? You really do hang about forever, don't you?
Ok. Je me demande s'il n'y a pas moyen de lui tataner la tronche.
Didn't I tell you to leave? Wasn't I clear that you're not welcome here? You can't teach a fool anything.
J'ai dit de fouiller avec quelqu'un bourré de chance. Oui, bah c'est lui justement. Je lui montre son porte-bonheur. Et il m'attaque en plus. Mais ah, et il m'attaque au pluriel. N'est-il pas?
Oh, feeling empty-headed, are we? I'd ask if you were born yesterday, but you're clearly a little older than that.
Poor.
Ok. T'es un peu con-con, toi, hein? À peine casse-couille, hein, ce mec. À peine casse-couille, là, ça va être la même. Ah non, empoisonnement, cool. Couteau. Fourchette. Je sais qu'il fait qu'une fourchette, ok. Voilà. Ça, c'est quoi?
You come to find. You come to search. But you won't find the way. A pity. Brachus has willed it. Trompnoy must abide. You have met the unfortunate guardian of this vault.
Ouais.
Judge him with a forgiving heart. Fate has been unkind to him.
Ok.
Do you wish to move forward?
Oui.
Listen closely and make your attempt. Brachus is a bloody, rotten, thieving, very, very awful fellow. Some even call him a cur. A cur is...
Alors, Brachus est un voleur malfaisant, un affreux vraiment, vraiment pourri et détestable. Brachus. Vraiment pourri et détestable. Oh putain. Alors attendez, il faut que je prenne des notes. Attendez, il faut que je prenne des notes. Alors, B, C, M. R. Non, ça c'est malfaisant. Là c'est voleur. Le A c'est affreux. Le C, il y a deux fois, c'est pour ça qu'il y a vraiment. Vraiment. Le U, c'est pourri. Et le S, c'est détestable. Ok, détestable. Alors du coup, l'homme qui se livre à des abus, c'est... Affreux. Voleur. Pourri détestable. Pourri détestable, c'est ça.
Either you're very good at guessing or the slightest bit clever. Let's find out for certain. Listen closely and make your attempt. Source is a scourge, a devil, a misery, a blight, a hex, a curse. And yet, the cure is...
Putain. Il faut un papier plus grand. Fuck. Il me faut un papier plus grand. Ah, attendez, j'ai un papier plus grand. Parce que je suis sûr que ces conneries, on va en avoir besoin plus tard. Hop. Alors. Source. Attendez. U, c'est pourri. Oh merde. Ok, non, ça change rien, ça revient au même. Merde! Putain. Tant pis. Alors. Alors, le C... C'est... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... donc c'est malédiction. Ensuite souffrance. Ensuite c'est plaie et ensuite c'est tragédie.
Perhaps you're not totally incapable after all. Or maybe Trompdoy told you the answers, is that it? Is he hoping you'll... It doesn't matter in any case. The path is open. Go freely. I know little. But you have proven yourself a knowing traveler. I will answer what I can. Brachus Rex discovered the way. This he researched here, upon this island. He could remove the source from any creature or individual. I saw the stars he used myself. They were most impressive. Brachus Rex has charged him, tried him, convicted and punished him. I know not the crime, but he has been sentenced to remain in this vault for all time, and to prevent others from entering. Trompdoy was and is a creative man. He knew petty magic in his day, but this he has used to carve this place out from a simple vault, myself included.
Pouah, d'accord. Okidoki. Ah! Toi, je vais m'embarquer ça, 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 ça. Couteau. Ouais, mais ça se revend, ça. Ah, c'est con, elle est jolie. Bouclier décoratif. Pas ça, quand même. C'est décoratif, c'est pour ça. Hop, là, tu vas m'embarquer ce tableau. On est en train de chouraver tout ce qu'on peut. Hein. Si c'est pas du vrai, tant pis. Cœur de poitrine, cœur du tyran. Prune de gifle de petite taille, ok.
You made it all this way.
Oui.
He trembles and seems to shudder with a quiet sob.
I'm cursed, you know. Bloody Brachus bound me here to protect his vault. He has my soul in that jar just there, and I can't leave without it. As long as the jar stays unbroken, I can never truly die.
Qu'est-ce que t'as fait?
I don't rightly know. This was the Source King's way. Befriend you, then destroy you. I was a fool to expect I'd be an exception.
D'accord.
His favor was intoxicating. That's no excuse, but it is the reason. Really? You would?
He drops to his knees before you and grabs onto your feet with both hands, head hanging.
Thank you.
Ok, point de qualité. C'est pas dégueu ça. Cette armure a été fabriquée dans la plus chaude des forges. Elle était la seule à pouvoir protéger le cœur noir de Brachus Rex et contenir son ambition brûlante.
Ah, it's been cursed.
On va utiliser ça. Voilà.
The jar before you may have looked opulent once, but no longer. Now it's covered in grime, its paint chipped away, and its jewels long stolen.
Oh merde, dérobé par qui?
The soul jar rocks slightly, light flashing from underneath its lid. On its rim, you can just barely make out the name Gratiana. As soon as you touch the jar's cracked surface, you see a vision of splendor. Silks, fine food, and decadent lechery. But underneath it all lies bone and blood. The vision shifts. You see burning villages, slaughtered women and children. You see her, purging wand in hand, standing amongst it all. She throws her head back and laughter echoes in your skull. A shadow falls across her, and you see a large, weeping face. She reaches out as if to comfort, but Brachus drags her back. You see her fall into the mire of the swamp, trapped.
Okay.
As you pull your hand away, you can feel a deep longing sadness in your soul. Is it regret, or just sadness for a life that used to be?
Absorber l'âme qu'elle contient, je suis pas sûr.
Power seeps out of the jar, a whispered promise of magic. But as soon as you feel it tingling on your bones, your source collar locks tight around your neck, squeezing and crushing you. With no suitable host, or perhaps sensing a threat, the magic retreats back into the jar.
Ok, on va donc embarquer la jarre.
Out of the frying pan and into... You know what? You've heard that one before, so let's try a new one. Shite's all mucked up. Yeah, seems more to the point, doesn't it? Is that so?
Oui.
Look, I don't know where you've been and what you saw, but I believe
tout ce qui compte pas, ouais. Ouais.
And I guess that's what matters, yeah?
Ok. Nécromancien Greek.
This jar glitters and glows. From within, you think you can make out the distant sound of laughter. With a jerk, your mind is pulled to a scene in a tavern. You see a dwarf in the center of the room, joking us all around raw with laughter. All bar the zombies, who are slavishly serving food and drink.
Ok, donc un nécromancien qui tient une auberge et dont les serveurs sont des zombies. Ok.
The door opens, and a tall, beautiful woman stalks into the room. She's flanked by heavily armed guards. You can't make out her words, but see the fear in the dwarf's eyes. The dwarf mutters a word, and the undead lurch towards the intruder, but are cut down like wheat. The dwarf tries to run, pushing her friends into the woman's path, but is grabbed before she can escape. As she's dragged away to a tower, you hear her cursing Brachus Rex and his whore. Even when she's thrown inside and the door sealed, you can still hear her shouts. You pull your hand away from the jar, your head swimming. You can feel the dwarf's cold terror still throbbing in your bones. The vision fades.
Lâcheté et cupidité. Ouais.
She must have been acting against Brachus Rex for him to have come for her like that.
keeping the dead as slaves. What a disgusting display. She deserved every punishment she got.
Being locked in a tower was more kindness than any necromancer deserves.
Ouais.
The jar seems quiet.
Good fight.
Ok, on embarque, on verra bien. Toi!
The jar on the plinth before you seems ancient, but is in surprisingly good condition. It's covered in pictograms that you can't understand, but you're sure you just saw one of them move.
Nécromancien rasque.
The pictograms spin to life, and you're dragged into a dream. You see the lizards of the ancient empire turning their backs on you, casting you out into the wilderness. As you roam, the human apes turn away from you, all but one. One smiles, one opens his arms, one says he'll take you home. Brachus Rex. He promises power for a price. He picks off your golden scales, one by one, stripping you down to the bone. He promised you a crown, but all you got was shackles. You try to fight, try to reclaim what's yours, but a woman takes you by the hand and leads you to a tower. He promised he'd take me home, you cry. You are home, she smiles as she seals the door. This is where you belong. Your hand drops away from the soul jar, your bones tingling. In the back of your mind, you hear a small, scared voice whimper before fading to nothing.
Qu'est-ce qu'ils en
The
pensent?
long-dead lizard's visions fade.
Ses crimes non par malice, mais parce qu'on le faisait souffrir. Lui aussi, il devait donc être pardonné. Bah, en fait, ce que je comprends, c'est que c'est un lézard qui était loin de chez lui, qui voulait rentrer chez lui, et du coup, bah, il y a Brachus Rex qui lui a dit viens, je vais t'aider à rentrer chez toi avec ta couronne, machin et tout, et au final, il l'a torturé et il a fini par l'enfermer dans son truc, quoi. Je vois pas où sont ses crimes en fait.
I can't help but sympathize with him. He just wanted to go home.
Oui, bah oui.
No amount of loneliness excuses wickedness. He helped a monster for selfish reasons.
Ouais, c'est pas ok.
What he did shames his people.
Ok.
The pictograms on the jars.
Là, on embarque la chasse, la jarre. Ensuite, nécromancienne Tamzin.
The soul jar stands on its plinth, glowing softly. You
Et
see,
voilà.
or rather, you feel a far-off land. Frozen breath hangs in the air. Pine needles brush your cheeks, and in your arms you can feel a weight. A body, dead. But you have hope. Your vision swims. You're older, but perhaps not wiser. You march at the head of a shambling host, the enemies of Brachus Rex melting before you. The scene twists again. Now Brachus stands before you, a beautiful woman at his side. You lash out in treasonous rage, but cold arms bind you. You're sealed away in a tower. Your screams fill the darkness. You feel a jolt and open your eyes to see the soul jar before you, lying still in the vault. Your hand falls from the jar and grips the pillar as you try to calm your ragged breathing.
Espèce de chef de guerre.
The necromancer's memories fade to black, but the feelings remain.
They may have been a necromancer, but they did not feel evil. Misguided, perhaps.
Ouais, c'est pas faux, mais nécromancien, enfin de base les nécromanciens, pour moi c'est de la magie
Anyone who
noire.
marches at the head of an undead host deserves whatever punishment they get.
One must wonder how many more lives they took. How much misery the scum caused.
Ok, on va
The jar
embarquer la
stands
jarre.
before.
Lucky find.
Alors,
A
Captain,
soul jar
machin,
rests
ok.
between two fallen columns, emanating a faint odor of seaweed and timber. When you touch the glass, your vision wavers.
Allez,
You
allons-y.
emerge on the prow of a fine ship. Your armor pulses with enchantment, dominating those who draw near. Your flag flies for Brachus Rex, a tyrant who traded for your soul. With his power, your flesh and blood is no longer relevant. The vision fades as the soul thrashes, trying to sever your connection. In the end, greed masters you. You seek out the tyrant's vault to retrieve your soul, but Brachus is ready with a trap. Thus imprisoned, you can only dream about what is out of reach. Your soul and that alluring armor. The vision shatters as the soul squirms away from you, curling up in the bottom of the jar. The soul jar pulses with trapped life force.
Quelque chose à dire, vous?
Out of the frying pan and into...
The soul jar
On va marquer la jarre. Ok, on a tout chouravé, comme des grosses salles. Ok, ça m'étonne même pas de toi. Je vois pas du tout ce que tu veux dire. Enclave du forcené. Et là, qu'est-ce qu'on a? Pillage! Pillage! Oui.
Deplorable surrounding for an agreeable conversation, but go ahead.
Comment se fait-il qu'elle soit
Don't
rouge?
tell me you've never heard the stories. The tale of my birth has been a bedtime staple for years. A dinner party favorite. Cute. Very well then, listen closely. One day a red sun rose, turning the desert sands into a blood-colored sea. When my mother, roused from dreams, beheld this crimson dawn, she knew the time had come and promptly gave birth to me.
Ok.
The sun rose to its zenith, but there settled, refused to descend towards the beckoning dusk. Instead, she hung there for 7 days and 7 bright, starless nights. So enamored was she with her little red prince.
Non, mais en même temps, si on lui explique ce genre de truc dès sa naissance, effectivement, tu m'étonnes que le gamin derrière il soit complètement ravagé.
Indeed, I've been a married man since the day I was born, for they call me the spouse of the sun. She who is all life and beauty, she whose colour I wear not in cloth, but in skin.
Ok.
He laughs wryly, baring rows of shark-like teeth.
There are those who believe that little legend, you know. I'm not one of them.
Ah, merci.
To tell you the truth, I've no idea why I'm red, but I do fancy I was rather lucky to be born a prince. My heritage made people celebrate my uniqueness. Had I been common born, they might have just drowned me in a well. Why, thank you. You'll find I don't live up to expectations with remarkable frequency. Case in point is that I have a high opinion of myself because of my unparalleled skills and intellect, not because of the bed I was born in. Though I won't go so far as to deny absolute wealth has its perks. Absolute power, for instance. No wonder I seek my way back to the throne. Indeed. Rallic, if I'm not mistaken. Always was rather the slow sibling in the pantheon, wasn't he? Because you're the very apex of your species, I assume. You really mustn't let one little god meeting go to your head.
Oh la vache. Le mec, il a oublié de se prendre pour de la merde. Hein.
My goddess told me the same thing. Of course she did. But I do wonder, Can a god be called a god still if they have to plead with another to assume the powers they seem to have lost? Of course I did. Only I'm not foolish enough to let it buy my loyalty. More glorious than you could ever imagine. More glorious than I wish to recall here. Ask me again once we escape, and I'll tell you tales that will last us 1,000 nights.
Ok.
I'd
Toi,
say
du
we
coup?
should stop to talk, but I'm swamped. Sure thing, Chief. What's up?
Ça va pas mieux au niveau de ses yeux.
One of the gods? Really? Well, look at you go. What did they say? Champion to the gods, eh? Colour me impressed.
Rire. Enfin, de feu, on se rend compte à fort joie.
It's working. Keep it up. Sure thing, Chief. What's up?
She bats her eyelashes coquettishly over black eyes in grey sockets.
Just for you, Chief.
Okay.
You know, wherever the next road leads, I guess. I never was one to sit in one place too long. How about you? You missing home by now? I get you. So, what is it you miss exactly?
Plutôt un sentiment d'ordre général. C'est-à-dire qu'il a un peu perdu tout son peuple, en fait.
I guess that's tough. Maybe you'll find him again after all this is over. Sure thing, Chief. What's up?
Non, rien. Ok. Bonjour.
Up on the ledge before you, a lone lizard woman overlooks the marshes. Her stare is as sharp as the bolt eyeing you from atop her crossbow.
Bonjour.
Stand back and keep your hands off your weapons. Convince me you're no magister, or draw one last deep breath.
Her eyes go wide with wonder upon your mentioning of a divinity.
No magister could sense the spirit of the goddess. Only a true sorcerer could, blessed with senses greater than our world's alone. I apologize for the steel-tipped welcome, but lives are at stake. Hold on, I'll let you up.
With one graceful motion, the lizard throws down a tangled mess of vines for you to climb.
Come, ascend to the sanctuary of Amadia.
Ah.
You'll find you're not the only guest here, but the Great Mother provides for all.
Ah bah oui, vu que c'est la mienne, évidemment.
The Red Prince interrupts as you're about to speak.
Mais
this woman is a dreamer. I can see the answers spinning in her eyes. Do rest your legs for a bit while I question her.
Okay.
You're too kind.
Red Prince and the Dreamer exchange courteous pleasantries, as if they're finding themselves in a palace hall instead of a death-ridden swamp. She introduces herself as Bahara. What follows, though, is far from peaceful. They claw and thrash as if struggling for dear life, caught in the hold of some hideous nightmare.
Okay.
Then they wake, haggard, exhausted. They speak of a vision, Brahmos, and another red lizard.
Ça va?
Praise the daylight. I am now. There was death in that dream, chasing me like 100 hungry lions. But at least I've new directions. When we escape and find ourselves on the mainland once more, I must search for Brahmos the Wanderer. Then I will finally know the truth, the very secret of my soul.
Okay.
The proud man has returned, but yours is the pride, is it not? All in this sanctuary rejoice to have Sir Gareth back, but yours is the glory.
C'est vrai.
Good. You did well. These seekers were blind without their leader, but you returned their one-eyed king.
Nickel.
He is a good man. He will try to do well. But you, I think, will be the one to make the true difference. The guests, they call themselves seekers. They're brave people, and friends to sorcerers. But you'll find them a battered band here today, brought low by bloody battle.
C'est qui s'en est pris
Magisters,
ça?
of course. Who else?
Magister, oui, évidemment, oui, je suis con.
The Seekers came here to rescue a sorcerer from the fort. They failed. Many fell. They've heard the Shrieker's shriek. I thank the goddess I'm not haunted by their sound. Have you never heard of them? From the tales they tell of Brachus Rex. They were living weapons, made of flesh and reared in torture. The pain they endured was so terrible, their screams turned to solid lightning. Turns out the tales are true. The Magisters dug deep and returned these horrors to the surface.
Les nains ont creusé trop profondément dans les mines.
To know one's fate is to be fearless. I reside in Amadia's palm. I am hers to shield or hers to crush, and in that knowledge, I am content.
Vraie question, hein, mais si vous savez quand est-ce que vous devez mourir et de quelle manière, est-ce que vous tenteriez d'éviter ça? Ou est-ce que vous en profiteriez à donf sans plus aucune peur, en fait, du coup? Ou une autre solution, j'en sais rien. Pour ma part, je pense que je continuerai à faire normalement et en approchant du moment, j'essaierai de faire tout mon possible pour l'éviter.
They knew him to be God-woken. They sought to kindle the divinity slumbering deep within his soul. But Alexander bears no rivals. Only the son can follow the father, or so he is convinced. For him, divinity. For the others, the dungeons. It is truly harrowing to know this man seeks to be the Seven's chosen. As you wish. My name is Bahara. Like you, I am a sorcerer. But unlike you, I am also a faithful servant of Amadia. Praised be her name, and praised be her starlit eyes. Commendable. And yet she is the most mysterious of the seven. Despite your perusals, no doubt that tome taught you little. So please allow me to enlighten you. Amadia is the Great Mother. She is the goddess in whose womb magic was conceived. from whose sacred body immortal wizards were born. Gratiana, her priestess in this sanctuary, is teaching me her ways.
Ah
For
tiens.
several years now, I've been her disciple, but she has resided here for centuries, sustained by Amadia's love. I am forbidden to leave my watch, and there is no need for formality. Gratiana will receive you as you are. You'll soon find her. She never strays far from the statue of our goddess. My knowledge is but a pond. Gratiana's is the sea. It is the sea you should speak to.
D'accord.
It is the laboratory of a lunatic. A place removed from mercy and sanity where mad Brachus Rex would experiment to his dark heart's content. There are ruins in the marshes. Stonework vultures that perch above the king's long-buried treasure. But his is not a treasure of gold, ruby, and sapphire. It is a treasure of death, weapons, and vile magic. There is nothing on this isle as valuable as the air you breathe. Don't look for worth in metal and stone. To escape with one's soul is enough. Haunted quagmires is what they are, and what is mired in them is madness. Brachus Rex, he went too far. Source was never meant to be harnessed in weaponry. May Amadia curse his soul for turning creation into destruction.
Ok.
Be welcome to this sanctuary. Amadia's eye.
1500 XP. Ah, un marchand.
The young man fidgets with his armor and half-sword excitedly. He sees you approach.
Was it you who saved Sir Gareth from the Magisters?
C'est oui.
Seven praise you, stranger. You don't know what it was like for us here. We all thought we were going to die. Now with Sir Gareth back to lead us, and if I know him, he must have found those source weapons, we might actually have a chance at surviving this.
The young man has abandoned the maps and now prepares his armor with happy urgency. He sees you approach.
Thank you for finding Gareth, stranger. I owe you. We all do. I just hope he's found what we need to get past the Magisters. Then we might actually have a chance at surviving this. Now with Sir Gareth back to lead us, and if I know him, he must have found those source weapons, we might actually have a chance at surviving this.
Divine blessings. It's good to see Gareth safe and sound.
Livre. Bonjour.
Hold up. I've got to take care of some business.
Ah, oui, vas-y.
Friend, how does life find you?
Well, I'll be. If it ain't the beast of the sea. Stories of your beard alone fly across Riverland like flocks of crows. Fair a bit more inland than you'd prefer, yeah?
Ain't I know it, ain't I know it.
Beast claps him on the back and chuckles heartily. If they hadn't met just a moment ago, you might think the dwarves lifelong friends.
I don't want to intrude, seeing as how you got your own trials and travails, but I don't suppose you've been to Reaper's Coast of late. Maybe heard of a fella named, what was it? Lohar?
Lohar? Yeah, I know of the guy. From back when I was looking for fishing work out in Driftwood. He's, how shall I say, an entrepreneur. Still out there a bit. Had his stubby fingers and a lot of pies, if you get my meaning.
Sounds like a man I'd buy 2 flagons of mead for. One for drinking and one for toasting. I got something for him. I'll tell him you sent your regards, Mr.
It's Duggan it is. Oh, and this here's Leia. You gotta be sick of that collar. Leia, you can get it fixed up, yeah?
Sure thing.
Ah!
Bet you're glad to be rid of it. Amazing to meet the beast in flesh. Let's see if we can get you back to sea.
Fighting the good fight, yeah? Your lungs have got to be starved for the salt air.
Beast chortles and nods, then passes you a sly wink. Such a charm bucket.
Et l'autre, c'est se planque.
Gareth is back. Gareth is safe.
Alors, qu'est-ce que tu vends, toi? Tiens, j'ai un bout de caca, si tu veux. C'est de première main.
She throws her arms around you in a tight embrace.
Thank you, thank you. You're so good, so kind, so brave.
She smiles and hugs you so tightly you think your bones may break.
What a beautiful day. What a happy day.
My thanks, friend. I can't remember the last time I've seen her smile like that. If there's anything we can do for you, you have only to ask. Well, know that you have my deepest thanks.
Ils ont l'air d'être ensemble, on va dire qu'on est content pour eux.
And mine. Mine too. Thank you. Divine blessings upon you.
Ok, on s'en est pas trop mal sorti. Et du coup, on a perdu ces colliers de merde. Et maintenant, on va pouvoir mettre de vrais colliers. Alors, oui, on va voir. Ah, Gareth. Bouge pas, gamin. Non, reviens. Où tu vas? Petit con. Ah, voilà.
Enjoy the quiet while it lasts. I know you seek answers. I'll tell you what I can. Godwoken.
C'est tout? Ok.
Gareth pauses.
My friend, the Voidwoken feast on us. There is no longer a divine to channel the will of the Seven. A new one must rise. Only a Godwoken, descended from heroes, may ascend to divinity. But few are left. We knew of one, Verdas. He is why we came here. There were others, but they fell like crab apples from their branches. Someone else looks for Godwoken, not to liberate them, but to kill them. You have spoken to a god?
Gareth stares intently, not so much at you as through you.
Yes, I see something there, and something else besides. But it's not for me to say. I must get you to Malady. She will know.
Avec un nom pareil.
She was imprisoned on the Lady Vengeance, one of the few of us not left to rot on the sand and sun. All the more vital we take the ship from the Magisters. Godwoken. We'd just landed on shore. Minutes later, Dallas sailed in on the Lady Vengeance, screaming like a banshee. We had no hope. Most of us were dead in the blink of an eye.
Mais ça, ils se sont fait blapper, j'imagine, oui.
She had horrors at her side. Shriekers, they call them. They still protect the harbor, firing pure death at anything that catches their eyes. The Lady Vengeance is still anchored there too. Lucian, save us from whatever plot Dallas is concocting on it. Well, I had a plan. Gratiana told me of weapons that could counter these shriekers. Purging ones that steal source from its host.
Ah, je viens d'en vendre.
I went to that armory looking for one of these wands, but Alexander's bootlickers stumbled in first. I found nothing but dust and blood. We've got to find a way to silence those shriekers. If we do that, the Lady Vengeance is ours. Freedom is ours. You do? But that's incredible! I can only imagine what ghoul-ridden depths you braved to find one. I had no doubt. You bring me hope, sorcerer. I'll gather the other seekers and travel to shore. Meet us there as soon as you can.
Gareth's voice echoes throughout the enclave with such command it could rouse a fawn to action.
We move, Seekers. Now is the time to resist. The Lady Vengeance will be ours.
Alors, qu'est-ce que tu vends?
Amidst the placid little pond, the face of a goddess lies half submerged in the water. Rivulets stream from her deep-set eyes like endless cascades of sunlit tears. You feel peaceful in her presence, soothed somehow by an intangible comfort. As you gaze upon her loving face, you find yourself drawn into a trance-like state. A voice seems to reach you from within your mind and from the furthest reaches of the stars. Its whispers caress you like a breeze. The voice grows stronger, like a breeze picking up. What were whispers become words.
My children, my children. Gone are my children. Dead are they in the cradle I have wrought.
Bien mauvaise mère.
A feeling of indescribable sadness assails you. It feels like your heart merges with the spirits, torn together by a coil of thorns.
My child, weep with me for the mother who has lost. Weep with me and bathe in the tears of Amadia.
You feel the goddess's presence surround you, feel her nestle you tenderly like a mother.
Oh, votre mère, vous êtes un éternel comme elle, pas un pathétique mortel larmoyant. Ok. Bah, t'as pas besoin d'être morte. Enfin, même en étant éternel comme elle, tu peux simplement. Je peux pas mute Steam, je suis désolé. N'importe qui d'autre. Parce que même si je suis éternel, je peux avoir des sentiments, hein, c'est pas la mort.
Fane the brave, Fane the savior.
The intensity of her embrace deepens. Never since the unremembered days of childhood have you been so enveloped in maternal safety.
My child, I love you. My own. I will guard you. Wander where you will, and cherish the kiss of Amadia.
You feel yourself shine with an inner light, rejuvenated and pure, as if born anew.
Ok. Est-ce que je peux parler à l'ourson? Oui.
The cub looks up at you with the saddest eyes you've ever seen.
Qui va?
The cub stifles a sob.
I want my mum.
The bear cub blinks, sniffles.
Like me, I guess. Only bigger. You seen her, Mrs.?
Panic and sorrow fight for position on the cub's face. It fights hard not to cry.
Oh no. Oh no, not my mum. I'll go find her. Mum, I'm coming!
The grief-stricken cub hurries off.
Such buttons. What happened here?
Bonjour.
An old elf's pained gaze passes between the crucified. Anger bubbles within him. He seems on the brink of tears of rage.
Dear ones, not like this. Not like this. Not like this. They're as good as my family. But I cannot heal them. I cannot heal them. So much pain. They are changed. That Dallas woman did something to their minds.
Ah.
They won't be healed. They cannot be healed. They resisted at all costs. They can't even be healed. Using such magic on them would kill them now. Such beautiful souls, corrupted by such evil. Where you find shriekers, you can trust the Divine Order is hiding something they desperately want to keep private. The fate of my dear ones proves there must be some such thing on this very island. Stay away from shriekers if you want to live. I know not how much longer my friends here have.
Tu vends quoi? Ok, peut-être pas forcément chose d'intéressant. Ah, 10% de résistance aux dégâts de feu. Bien ça. Fromage. Consommer du fromage. De la fourche. Hostile. What? Comment ça à l'attaque? Mais qu'est-ce qui s'est passé? Ça j'ai occupé. Merde. Non, attends. Putain, qu'est-ce que c'est que ces conneries? Mais nique-toi! Pourquoi il a viré son pentafute? Il est complètement con. Mais alors pourquoi, en bouffant ça... Moins 1 de dextérité, 1 constitution. Avec un fromage dans chaque main, tout est possible. Ah putain, d'accord, parce qu'il faut... Oh là 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 là, Mélanique. Ok. Gratiana, tiens.
From within her mask, you can hear the whispered words of a prayer. She falls silent, turning to face you.
It would be a sweet joy to see the Magisters chased from this land. But I fear all I will see today is death. Perhaps, but they cannot take a Shrieker by surprise. It will eviscerate their numbers, as it did before. Gareth failed to reach the armory in time. But there is another vault hidden beyond the Magister's guile.
Le prince rouge est en train de crever de 3 cancers d'irradiation, du Covid et du choléra. J'ai surtout l'impression en fait qu'il a sa malédiction toujours.
If you can steal away these weapons, your friends may well stand a chance.
L'arme d'Astarte. Tiens. 1 de constitution, 23 PV. C'est sympathique ça. Sandale de mage, meule à grain. Okay. Baguette magique en pierre. Baguette magique en pierre. 10, 11 eau. Bâton de nain. Ouais, la merde. Hop.
But beware, such items are of limited power. If they cease to function,
On a déjà trouvé le complexe souterrain. Et récupérer la baguette.
You have? That's wonderful, of course.
Déjà, ouais.
Did you see anything else? Did you find any soldiers?
Ouais.
They are relics of great power. Please, you must give them to me. If I can make an offering of them to Armadia, it could aid your cause.
J'ai quelques questions avant ça.
There is no time for questions. Just give me the jars. You don't understand. You couldn't understand. Please, I need it. Please give it to me. Hiding. Impatient.
Oui.
She reaches up and tears off her mask, revealing a wet skull, stained by centuries. You stare into the empty eye sockets of the undead creature before you.
Oui, alors d'accord, mais moi je suis aussi mort-vivant. Alors pourquoi vous m'avez attaqué juste avant, hein, bande de gnous?
You dare speak to me of hiding? You dare speak to me of patience? I have waited centuries, watching lives come and go, while my soul lies locked in a cage. I have been patient enough. Return to me what is mine. Return my soul, you insolent pup!
Laissez tomber la jarre.
She reaches greedily for the jar, tearing the cap off. You see a green glowing light emerge from the jar,
On verra si j'ai fait une connerie ou pas.
By Armadia, I feel wet. Oh goddess, I can feel your tears upon my face. I suppose you deserve to know. Before I knew Armadia's grace, I was a very different person.
Okay.
I was the concubine of Brachus Rex.
Ah! Ah! Ah putain, fallait le savoir. Ok, j'avais pas percuté que c'était elle.
But more than his lover, I was his partner. I discovered his power to feed on the source of others, and I allowed it to... No, I made it happen. As his strength grew, so too did mine. There is nothing you cannot do when you sit on the lap of a powerful king. But power changes a man, as he changes his nation. Brachus grew paranoid, angry, murderous. I gave him more and more, trying to win him back to me. I offered him the source of whole villages. He devoured them and demanded more.
L'argent appelle l'argent, comme on dit.
The lands outside were once green and beautiful, until I came. Until I turned them over to him. Now all's poison, and the dead are restless. Very well. My thanks again, child.
À la base, c'est une pute. On va dire presque littéral et figuré. Le truc, c'est que... Derrière... Combien de siècles elle a passé dans cet état-là? Et à servir ma déesse, en fait. Hein. Enfin, ma pote, on pourrait même dire, vu que je suis de son époque. Je pourrais être son voisin ou son frangin, donc voilà. Défonce-la! Je suis un peu embêté parce que j'ai l'impression qu'elle s'est rachetée, on va dire. Bon, en tout cas, elle a essayé. Que ton perso est moche. Non, mais normalement, il a une coupe à la Elvis, mais je peux pas la montrer parce que sinon, en fait, y a tout le monde qui va se mettre à s'exciter comme des connards, quoi. Alors, causons.
I'd stay close to Sir Gareth once the fighting begins. Whatever path
okay.
As you approach, Gratiana turns to you. Her moves are lighter now. Her voice is warmer, but still tempered by the scene around her.
T'as pas un truc arracheur de tête? Si.
I'm pleased to see you, but there is work to be done.
Un truc du genre, ouais.
If you ever wish to leave, if the Seekers are to survive, you must use the purging wand to destroy the Shriekers. Go, before it is too late.
Ok.
You've come. Lucian be praised.
Hey Garrett! Tu veux une cig? Garrett? Pardon. Je rate de la thune en plus.
Gareth glances over his shoulder, and his voice tightens.
Attendez, il faut que je me gaffe à l'heure.
The Shriekers keep watch, and their gaze isn't the only one we should avoid. The murderer is here, Alexander. The butcher's in the ruins, beyond the Shriekers, and he's not alone, as well he wouldn't be. The Order keeps its godwoken leashed. Nothing, as long as those Shriekers stand. Get that purging wand and silence them. If I didn't know better, I'd think the gods themselves were your counsel.
He reaches for the wand, but pulls back before touching it.
Would that I could aim this wand at Alexander myself, to bleach his soul and sear his skin. No, this thing was birthed from a wicked era. What would Lucian say, seeing me confront one evil with another? Go, take down those Shriekers.
La fin de la map. Eh ben écoute, ça tombe très bien, parce que c'est la fin de cette partie du stream. Je vais aller manger, j'ai pas du tout percuté à l'heure, je pensais qu'il était 18 h encore.